Hi guys, so I'm sitting here doing my morning routine. I don't feel very well. I haven't been out in almost 2 weeks now. I'm gonna try to get some groceries this week. I don't have water. I don't have what I need because this is what these people continue to do, and I'm gonna continue as long as I can to speak out. Quit posting your posts on my channel about being mentally ill or I'm making it up. Just because you're involved with dirty cops doesn't make you right. Just because they're making it up because Mr. Spencer is the police chief now, so he can get all this blue line to tell me I'm delusional, I have mental ill, but he knows the truth. I don't have mental illness. I never did, thank God. After all the abuse, you would think I would. And they use these stereotypes, they use these ACEs. My sister-in-law was, a special ed teacher. She knows all about gaslighting someone and making them feel stupid all the time, and so on and so forth. So you can see every single remark on my YouTube page for almost 7 years now has been derogatory, has insinuated mental illness, has defended the police. Wow, isn't it amazing? We have all these BLM protests and there's black people here actually involved in this. I'm really amazed. It's really sad. But just like Never Again, we also had Jewish folks that, I don't know, somehow believe that was just for them. And it diminishes the sacrifice of the Holocaust. It diminishes the sacrifice of the black community. It diminishes the sacrifice that people have made, and certainly Polish maids, because that's what I was told I was. And then I found out there was Polish women in the camps that were treated as objects and were used for prostitution because, we're tools or we're objects and they objectify us. And they did this throughout my marriage. Every time I tried to talk to someone, oh, he loves you so much, he's such a nice guy. These people got together and did this. Certainly family, my blended family, all of his friends, they pretended they didn't visit because I didn't invite them. To the very end, these people got together, had another party, and had to take out their abuse on me instead of dealing with their own issues. And certainly Mr. Spencer is guilty of that. He got a restraining order. He made up all this horrible stuff about me, dug up everything way back when I was 5 years old to cover up for his own family, to cover up for his friends, the Megnas, to cover up for my family, the Flanagans, who I'm married to. So this has been going on since I was a child. They've all been friends. They were friends with my mother's boyfriends that were sexually inappropriate. This went on in Fort Johnson. They used to have these big parties up there and constantly insinuate I had problems. And I find out he's a police officer with the Cuddies and my ex-husband's cousins. So see, it's very incestuous, very group-oriented. And we know how groups are regressive. And certainly any kind of group can be regressive. And certainly the Blue Line. They have their share of mental illness. They have their share of men that can't seem to treat women like human beings. And I certainly was treated less than human throughout the court system. This man was allowed to sit in court and laugh and joke and dress up in his little costumes and make insinuations with the judge and make up filthy things about me rather than manning up and dealing with his own issues and his own family and some of these other people that they were friends with. And I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because his family has been friends with my ex-husband since they were kids. They were friends with my blended family since I was kids. Isn't that right, Mr. Spencer? His father knew Bud, my mother's boyfriend. They were also partying in Fort Johnson because my ex-husband's relatives lived there. So he's been preying on me since a child, my ex-husband and his friends. So stop leaving these nonsense posts. It's not going to work. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not delusional. I'm not making stuff up. Retaliation is a big part of speaking out. And I wouldn't have spoken out. I would have quietly, every time I went down to court, I said, just give me what belongs to me and I will leave. I certainly didn't want to deal with people's shame or their denial or their ongoing violence because they can't seem to deal with their inappropriate stuff in their own families. And certainly machismo, patriarchal families have a lot of this type of incestuous, inappropriate behavior because they don't see anything wrong with treating women and children as objects. And I'm not going to use this video to get into that. I have posted a couple videos of some good work that's being done in this area with these types of families. I certainly experienced it in my family, and it needs to stop. And as the Epstein files come out and we talk about it, this horrible thing, naming this as a hoax, is really not going to help this situation. We all know it's not a hoax. Victims are real people. We've had histories of this kind of sexual abuse and violence. Certainly every office I worked in Albany, they thought it was funny to cause trouble and sexually harass me, and I never knew what it was. He has relatives, and I'm sure he is very involved with this whole, they never lost the Civil War. They're involved with these reenactments. They do this sleazy stuff secretly. They meet in the woods, and they're gonna, make America great by bringing back slavery and some of this other stuff. And it's repugnant. And it's repugnant to find out his relatives and himself and his friends were involved in this type of extremism. So please don't keep leaving posts. Check out the videos, check out other people's stuff. It's absolutely repugnant that we have to, in 2025, talk about slavery, talk about people that want to bring this stuff back, talk about, people are doing better. And now, just when people are doing better, certainly like me, growing up on welfare, owning my own home and car and different things, these people couldn't wait to destroy it. These people couldn't wait to degrade and destroy. And we see that with black folks around here doing better, doing well. The Hispanic community, I have Hispanic relatives, they don't want people to do well. It's just their little clique in Amsterdam. And certainly it's been that way for a long time. Certainly we can make private roads for certain people and they know who they are and the taxpayers can be on the hook for that. But we can't have housing in the city. I can't live in my own home and have police protection because they're too busy protecting their chosen little clique. And certainly in Amsterdam, certainly with the new 2 police chiefs. So they need to stop their harassment and retaliation, and they're getting they're thugs to do this to me because it's not going to work. I'm not mentally ill. I'm not schizophrenic. I don't care how many false police reports and how many sleazy lies he goes around the city and makes up about me with his friends. And certainly I just caught his father and my ex-husband when I left Broad Albany again, starting trouble. So these 2 men have been doing this. These 2 police chiefs were raised and socialized by these men that continue this kind of objectification and abuse towards women and harassment. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And it started when I was a child. So be safe out there, guys. And these people need to stop victim blaming. Grow up and deal with your own stuff.